Zian was a 10-year-old boy with big dreams and an even bigger imagination. Every night, as his parents turned off the lights and wished him good night, Zian would curl tightly under his blanket, whispering softly to himself, "Please, don't come out tonight." Under his bed, he believed, lived a monster. It didn't have sharp claws or glowing red eyes. It didn't roar or crawl. Instead, it lived in silence, a quiet, invisible shadow made of fear, always whispering doubts into his young mind. At school, Zian wanted to raise his hand, to answer questions, to share ideas. But the voice would come again, "What if you're wrong? What if they laugh?" And every time he would lower his hand and shrink back into silence. During recess, Zian would stand alone, watching other kids laugh, play, and run freely. He wished to join them, but something always held him back. That same shadow, that same voice, always whispering that he didn't belong. One night, something changed. Zian sat up in his bed, tired of feeling afraid. He reached over to his nightstand, grabbed his little flashlight, and stared at the floor beside his bed. "Tonight," he said aloud, "I face it." His heart pounded, his hand trembled. Slowly, Zian leaned over the edge of the bed, the beam of his flashlight cutting through the darkness. He took a deep breath and looked under. There was no monster, just dust, an old toy truck, a forgotten teddy bear, and a single crumpled piece of paper lying quietly in the corner. The silence was still, but no longer scary. Zian reached for the paper and opened it. In his own handwriting, probably from when he was younger, were the words, "You are stronger than your fear." He stared at it, stunned, as if his younger self had left him a message for this very moment. Tears welled up in his eyes, not from fear this time, but from realization. He smiled gently, holding the note close to his chest. The monster had never been real. It was only fear, made stronger by his belief in it. The next day, something amazing happened. In class, Zian raised his hand. His voice was still soft, but it didn't shake. He answered a question, and the teacher smiled. So did he. Zian began to explore things he had once been afraid to try. He painted colorful pictures, spoke to new friends, and even shared a short story aloud. Every little act reminded him, courage wasn't about not feeling fear, it was about moving forward despite it. The monster never came back. Or maybe it was still there, in the background, just smaller now. Because Zian had changed. He no longer hid from fear. He stood in the light, holding the truth that once lived on a crumpled note. One peaceful morning, Zian stood by the window, the first rays of sunrise lighting up his face. He held the same note gently in his hand. He didn't need it anymore, but he kept it as a reminder. He had faced the monster and won. You see, the real monster was never under Zian's bed. It lived in his mind. And once he stopped believing in it, it disappeared. You are stronger than your fear, just like Zian.